you want an actual makeup tutorial, you found the right place. Let me show you how to get the look. We're gonna use a clear base from the socket to the brow bone. I want my undertone to kind of peek through and be seen through our transition shade. This was one of my favorite shadows when I first started makeup. We're gonna grab it just on one side of the brush. Let me make sure this is nice and focused. And if you hear a ruckus, I have my window open and my cat is snoring. But we're still having fun. Okay, notice I'm using the side. We're just gonna press back and forth. And now you can kind of see what I was talking about when I wanted my undertone and skin tone to peek through. Even though this is a pigmented shadow, my undertone is melting with this color. Now we could eventually build it up to where you wouldn't be able to see my skin peeking through, but I'm looking for more of a defined wash of color right now. I feel like this always seems so unimportant, but it is important. It's important to know where you're picking up that shadow, how you're picking it up. And the reason why is because we can take that on the tip of the brush now and just push it into the socket for just a little bit of definition. And I'm using these more warm red browns to really bring out the blue that we're about to use. The red orange is really gonna enhance that blue, and the reason why is that if we look across the color wheel, you'll see that they meet. I'm gonna give you a very boring tip, but it's one of the best eyeshadow tips that you can ever get. So if you've ever noticed, sometimes when I apply an eyeshadow, you might look at it and think, wow, that's not pigmented at all. But what I'm doing is I'm very mindful of how much I'm picking up on the brush. Even where I'm at in my makeup journey, if I just go in and I get a ton of pigment on my brush and I start to go in there, that could be too much. Could I fix it? I could absolutely fix it, but it's always better to take time and build. It might take you 1 minute longer, but building is so much better than oversaturating and then correcting. All right, class, why are we using a white base? I'll tell you why. Because we want the blue to show up as true as it is in the pan. We're gonna be able to see the texture on the white base and the color. Now I do want it to kind of melt into our crease, so I'm not doing a cut crease. In fact, I'm going to grab another brush to kind of soften the top part, but I am going to place it first with my C30. Take my C31. See that little bit of a slant? I'm going to take that and I'm just going to soften and push it into the socket a little bit. The blue shadow will kind of melt it too, but I just didn't want harsh edges. There we go. See how it's kind of melting into there? Okay, now I need you to put on your makeup seatbelts for the blue. I'm so excited. Now, if you need to do any kind of packing, it's best to really load up the brush because you want to set this tacky base evenly and all at once. Oh my gosh, we're even getting the texture on our eye. Oh, that is beautiful. Again, load that brush up, really pack it on there. You're absolutely going to get fallout with this technique, but that's how you get that high impact from the color, and it's even how you kind of translate the texture onto your eye. So since our lid shade is very cool, I'm actually gonna grab a contour shade, add just a little bit of definition, still diffused, but a little bit of definition just where that lavender shade meets the warmth, just so it kind of cascades. That way we don't go too cool to too warm. Kind of a nice little transition. Now I haven't really been into sharp edges. I've been into more of a diffuse look. So I like to take my micellar water, which y'all have probably seen this, and I'll just start to tap away and fade the edges. So instead of doing a line, I'm tapping and melting. And then I'm even gonna do the same thing over this way, which we'll do it again. I'll make sure this is in focus. We'll do it again a little bit once we get our concealer and foundation on, but this just kind of gives us a softer, ethereal, blended, melted look. I think we're just gonna do a smudgy lash line. So we're gonna grab our clear base. This is one of my favorite techniques right now. It's just so easy. So I'm just gonna take this along my lash line. And I'm not gonna worry about evening this out because we wanna kind of turn our shadow that I'm about to grab into a liquid eyeshadow. Woo! So we don't mind if it's a little thick around here because it will eventually get smoothed out. I'm gonna take just a dark brown eyeshadow. You can use black, you can use whatever you like, and I'm just gonna start to smudge the lash line. This is the easiest way because it doesn't dry down until you completely set it. And sometimes what's happening when we're trying to smudge our lash line and we're getting patchy, we're getting chaos of any kind, it's because what we're using is drying very quickly. So this is a really good tip if you want to just quickly smudge your lash line. And then the bent liner brush is, well, it's a must. And I do want to build it up, so I'm using the side of my brush to pack it onto the lash line. Give our lashes a nice little clamp. Melt them into our natural lashes. So the foundation that I'm about to use is just a hair too light. So to salvage that, I'm gonna do my bronzer first. So we're gonna go just a touch warmer than I normally would. Let's go ahead and place that. Now we're gonna do a rough blend, and that means we don't really have to worry about it being perfect. That's gonna be fine. Let's go in. Now we're gonna have the warmth from the bronzer, and we're gonna have a much better match. Now we're gonna do a little bit more cleanup work. Take the smallest amount of foundation. You can barely even see it there. I'm gonna start here just to make sure that we're not taking too much. We're gonna tap it. You better focus. There we go. I'm gonna tap it over this way. That's my cat snoring. And then we're just gonna tap it there. He is really like honk shoeing like a cartoon. So our concealer is going to pull more warm, more yellow today, yellow. And I'm going to explain why in the next slide. All right, so look at this. So you got your yellow directly across from your purple. Now when they're separate like this, they're going to really stand out from each other. See that? Really make a difference. Say we had some purple underneath our eyes though, we could use a more yellow corrector to combat that. So on top of one another, they're going to do what they need to do. They're going to correct, they're going to cancel. But side by side, they're going to amplify one another. Now to combat that, we're gonna add a tiny amount of strawberry blush, and I'm just gonna use that and mix this in, and you're gonna see it transform and correct. This is not the pink under eye trend, but look at this difference now. So cool. Now we're gonna go back in with our clear base. And then I'm gonna kind of do a circle here. So I'm doing a circle where this lash line meets right there, and I'm just gonna, there might still be a little bit of shadow left over from here. So if you're seeing that, that's what's going on. And now I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up the brown eyeshadow. I'm gonna start here, kind of turning it into a liquid shadow so we're not gonna have any fallout. And I wanted to do a more chunky wing. I haven't seen this style of wing around in a little while. So it's not so much as an elongated, but it's still gonna bring the eye out this way and continue that shape. And I'm just going to keep building this up. I need to pick up some more. Press it in there. There we go. I'm gonna take an E27 and just smudge the bottom part just a little bit. And then I'm also gonna grab a pencil close to my skin tone, and I'm gonna bring it there, and I'm gonna skip the iris. Press a little bit of our lid shadow here, and you can really see a difference now what that white base makes. I've been into peachy tones. I'm gonna apply this a little higher on my cheekbone today. Kind of do a secret drape, almost connect it. Kiko Milano lip liner in cold brown, 536. Whatever's labeled is correct. These are $4.50. I think I just found our new favorite cool lip liner. Then I'm gonna do this Kiko Milano Unlimited Double Touch. Then we're gonna let this completely dry down. Add our gloss on top. Here we have our finished look. Now you go ahead and save this for later because there's a lot of helpful info here.